Hello, everybody, and welcome. I'm gonna share the YouTube link and we'll get started here shortly. How is everyone doing? Happy December. Oh my goodness, it's December already. I know, it's pretty crazy. Kind of miraculous and amazing how just quickly things keep moving. All right, one more. Actually, no. I'm going to be talking here for another minute. Join us. Have couple more. I'll be there shortly. Let me do just one more share. On Patreon for those that may or may not know, I do have a Patreon. And right now it's actually just one tier. And within this tier, I'm sharing weekly support. So you'll get weekly meditations, clearings, a discount to all of my courses. So a course is anything that's longer than a day. And a class is usually just a 1 day, a few hours. And that's also available for any paid Patreon members. So all right. You'll get to see me in a little bit. Just wanted to share those links. The other thing that I did forget right now is that oh, actually, maybe I can do this. Okay, we're gonna try something right now. Can I see chat? That is the question. Okay, cool. So I can see the chat, even though am I sideways? I don't know if I am. Hold on. I might be sideways. Hi, Adrian. I want to see if I'm sideways or if I am. Or if my video just completely disappeared. Can you let me know? I'm checking something just so that I can continue to charge my other phone. My other phone needs charging. So let me know how you're seeing me. In any case, I hope you can hear me. Oh, good. I can actually see how I see. I can't see what you see right now. Just quite meaningful. Everyone will have their own perspective, right? But as long as you can, actually, as long as you can hear me, that's what actually counts. But my face is frozen. Okay. So my face is frozen, but you can hear me. And that's because I don't have the Zoom up. I have the YouTube so that I can see your comments. So what I'll do once it finishes charging a little bit more, or rather, I can actually scoop this and I can do this. Okay. I can shift a little bit and that way you can see me. And I can see your comments. Yay. Okay. So we can do that. Hi, Evan. Wonderful. You're perfect. And anyone else that's here, welcome. Okay, I think I figured it out. Took me a while, but I'm here. Thank you for being here. Let me just put YouTube on my other phone so that I can see your chat. See the chat. Okay, beautiful. I think we can manage. So I want to welcome everybody to this live update and support, as well as to December. Welcome to December. It's so crazy that we're already here and we are literally 30 days from 31 days from crossing the finish line within this linear year. Anyway, I'm sure you guys feel how crazy that is. I'm sure you guys feel feel everything, by the way. We are definitely continuing to feel absolutely everything. When we talk about frequencies, how we feel the frequencies, what's been coming through for each and every single one of us, it's always going to grow and it's always going to expand. And we're going to be talking a little bit about everything. I am going to be updating you guys on the upcoming week-long course, Clearing Karmic Ties. So that's the image that I had up just a few moments ago. And I have to update the schedule on the page. So if you go to, let me put the link here. If you go to this page, you're going to see a little bit more information. You're actually also going to see the schedule. However, as always, things have shifted a little bit. So I am extending the course a day or so. So it's going to be from Monday through Sunday. And I'm still going to be doing 3 live classes where I'm going to be expanding on this topic. We're going to be touching on the body karma. We're going to be touching on relationship karma. I guess it's body health. I believe I tied it to the two together. Health, body, karma, relationship, karma, family karma. Because family karma is like a whole aspect within itself, like a big one. And then we'll go into money karma. So we're going to be touching on those four themes throughout the week. I'm going to be having 3 live classes, and then I'm going to be having 2 Q&A support group sessions where I'll be just answering questions. And I'm also going to be doing some personalized clearings. So it's going to be a group clearing meditation, but I'm going to be tapping into, couple or a few people, however many, whatever the number is, specifically on those people, supporting them in whatever internal energies I feel, which supports the entire group because we're all connected. So everything that at some level I feel and I sense, you also feel in your own personal way. And this is how we're all so interconnected. This is how we are literally one consciousness. This is how we also clear faster and clear more when we start to connect at a deeper level, in that everything that I have inside of me is also inside of you. Everything energetically that I still have, the discord, the karma, the separation, you have to. We all do. And so we'll be doing that. I'll be doing that, probably be doing 2 or 3. So I'm going to be updating that schedule. For sure, I'm going to tell you, when did I have this? The Friday one is for sure changing. So I'm not going to be doing a class on Friday. I'm going to be doing it on Saturday. So Saturday and Sunday, I'm probably going to be doing a little bit more. Again, just because this coming Thursday and Friday they've shifted a little bit. And so I'll be doing that. I'll be sharing that with you guys. Awesome. So, the other thing that I wanted to mention before I get to your comment, Adrian, is that this is a paid course. And so I'm gifting it. I'm doing an exchange for 55 USD. And I felt guided into only leaving it open until Monday. So Monday is going to be like the cut off date. So you guys feel into this today and tomorrow to see if you guys would like to join us live. After I start the course, I'm likely not going to open it up. If you are a Patreon member, or you'd like to have a little bit of if you'd like to receive a little bit of what's going to be on the course, you will, if you sign up for a paid membership inside of my Patreon. The personalized clearings will be available to all Patreon paid members. So you have an opportunity to kind of either take the full course or get a feel for the course through through Patreon, paid Patreon membership. And just to get a feel for that as well. Follow me on Patreon for more information. And I believe that's all that I wanted to say. I may just remind everybody or just share the link again towards the end. Adrian, so much head pressure and fatigue, but I just completed a 3-day Vedic Thai massage continuing education course. It was super intense, but I got through it, ascension upgrades and all. Yay! Wonderful. Oh my God, it's Sunday. That's right. You did mention that, and I'm like, oh wait, you finished it already? Wait a minute, it is Sunday. Yeah. Time is like this. Time flows. Time just merges. Can't really know what day of the week it is anymore, but that's been the case for years now. I am so happy to hear this, especially through the Ascension upgrades. The thing is that Ascension upgrades don't stop. They won't. I'm not going to say they won't ever stop. It's just that collectively, we still have quite a ways to go until we have fully upgraded to a 12-strand DNA strand body, like a fully activated 12-strand DNA body. So it's going to take some time. However, I will say, and I will vouch for this because I am starting to feel the amazing effects of having your light body fully online most of the time, where when you are in full alignment with, your reality, you will have more than enough energy, more than enough support, more than enough inspiration, more than enough. Like you'll have an abundance of everything that you need for whatever task is at hand. Sorry. And so continue to open up, continue to surrender to everything that you're going through. And right now with what you mentioned, everything will support you in accomplishing whatever it is that is highest aligned for you to accomplish. So yay, super happy to hear that. Let me not do the blur because I have birds in the background and butterflies. I didn't know you could see. The light body is capable of so much. We just haven't been fully connected to it, right? And so right now, for a lot of us, we're going through a lot of upgrades. But at times and throughout different, phases and whatever comes through in your reality, you're also going to be seeing the miracles of the strength you'll have, the energy that you'll be able to pull off, how much light you've stored, how much you're able to sustain yourself with very little food, very little sleep. All of these things will come through. It's just a matter of literal time for us to and I don't want to say like you don't have to wait. You can start to experience that if you haven't already here and there. Because I started to experience that here and there even, a couple of years ago. Now it's been pretty full on where the energy is just, especially because I have to. The other day I pulled a crazy work shift. I'm helping a couple of friends out at their stores. And so I did back-to-back like 2 shifts back to back, and then went to a I don't know what it's called. I went to an event with my parents at night, and yeah, we almost came home like pretty close to midnight, if not like an hour, a half hour before midnight. And so yeah, it was a huge long day, hardly ate anything. And I came home and I was still going, and I was like, oh, okay. So anyway, the light body will surprise you. Just how much it's able to pull from inside, just how much energy and how much strength you'll have. So, and I say this constantly, keep opening up and keep allowing everything that's happening right now with the body, because it's so, so, so important. Um, as I'm talking about the body right now, and I'm going to add some of the frequencies that have been coming through that are pretty normal to come through, especially as we end the linear year. December is like this final push to get certain things done. I'm not going to say like everything, but certain things done. Get certain things cleared, get certain things settled or solved, get certain things moving, closing. We're going to be closing a lot of things, and I've already kind of gotten the energy of what will support us as we move closer and closer to the end of December. There's going to be a lot of closures, completions, and part of what supports in that is all the different things that tend to come our way, especially because we're right in season, not season, Christmas season now, like after Thanksgiving. And it's so funny. I was in San Antonio, Texas a couple weeks ago, and like nothing was Thanksgiving. Everything was already Christmas. And it was like, because I went right after Halloween, and I was like, what happened to Thanksgiving? Like, oh no, it's Christmas. It's like everything was Christmas already. And they were even like playing Christmas songs on their radio already. And when I don't know, even like 6, 7 years ago, it's like, wait a minute, this was after Thanksgiving. Sorry. This was after Thanksgiving, or more so after Thanksgiving, but everything was like, no, it's Christmas. So I already had seen the acceleration of that energy come through. But anyway, the seasons, the holiday season is already here. And with that comes a lot of movement. Okay. One of the biggest things about this that I got just literally right before I got here is that this is meant to clear a ton of karma, a ton of karmic energy still held within the body. Okay. And by the way, the simplest way to explain this is the heaviness we feel inside, the tightness, that's all karma, by the way, because it's an imbalance of energy. When anything is in balance, it's heavy. When anything's light, it's expansive, it's pure, that's light. Anything that's not light ties to a karmic stuff. And so, there's a lot that still needs to be worked through the body, a lot that needs to be cleared. And so for those that may be, tapping into that new light body energy, here and there, or, full on, there's going to be a lot of movement. It's going to be a lot of things coming your way. There's going to be a lot of emotions as well. We're doing a lot of emotional purging too. With that, there's also going to be a lot of transitions, We go through waves, right, of this energy, the transitional energy. And I know we had a big wave, 2020, 2021. Okay. Well, this is going to open up to the second wave. So 2025 will start that next wave. And so it's going to be a lot of emotions, tons and tons and tons of emotions are going to continue to open up. The important part about emotions is that the emotions that aren't light, the heavy ones, are what keep the karmic loops and the karmic ties active. This is why I talk a lot about emotions. This is why I remind you guys to open up and feel everything, because it's always going to be the root of absolutely everything, especially those the karmic stuff and the karmic ties. As we continue to open up, fully feel the emotion, fully feel it within the cells, so the cellular level, all that, the karmic stuff starts to clear. The karmic energy starts to unfold, unravel, and it's a lot easier for light to clear all of that stuff, if that makes sense. So continue to open up for this massive, 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 huge timeline. Well, it is a timeline. This huge passageway that's going to continue to it's going to continue to expand. By transitions, are you referring? I'm referring to all kinds of transitions. So we're going to be going through the second wave of mass souls leaving. And we're also going to be going through a mass transitional phase within every single aspect. Yes, every single aspect of our reality is going to continue to shift and change. We're going to go through a personal transition phase. The thing about that is, we're still holding carbon, which also keeps the karma inside the body. The carbon is what keeps the heaviness. The happiness is what resists the flow of energy. And so there's going to continually be more and more of this flow of energy, right? Light moves at light speed, which is very, very fast. Depending on how much heaviness, how much carbon, how much karma, how much density each person has, will depend how that person is able to flow through each transition phase. So it's going to hit us all, period. Just like 2020. And I've said this before, and I might talk a little bit more, but this is the next 2020. the next year, the next 2 years. Okay, the next year, I'm gonna give it like a 2 year, 1 year to 2 year, is going to be the next 2020, meaning the level of change that we all experienced in 2020. Well, we're gonna go through another layer of that, at a deeper layer. So this is going to be really, 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 really important for those that are here. I know that you guys have already opened up to this. You've already opened up to this journey. However, for each and every single one of us, we're going to continually be pushed more and more and more to go deeper and deeper and deeper, and to allow more and more change. Hands down, you know, without a doubt, this is without, like, this is, we're getting to a very important phase collectively. The next 5 years are going to be very different. They're going to be very everything. They're going to be everything. And like, you know, there's so much. Sometimes it's a little bit of, okay, what do I say? How do I say this? Because there's going to be absolutely everything. Okay. The reason why it's so important to dive deeper into our own karmic stuff is because what's happening right now has already played out before. This is why it's called karma too, because this has already been done. We've already done this. We've already gone through all kinds of shit. You and I, now I'm speaking about you and I because I know that you guys are on this journey, because I know that you guys are a little bit more conscious, and we need to continually open up to more consciousness so that collectively we can expand our consciousness, and we can collectively move out of the timelines that are still very karmic, very distorted, and very heavy. Okay. So, oh, cool. I like my sweater. My sweater glows. Can you expand on that? Yes, absolutely. I don't know what you want me to expand on right now, but I will expand on everything. One of the biggest things that I want to remind you of is that everything that's playing out right now is playing out inside of us. Okay, your external reality is just a reflection of that which has already happened inside of us. Okay. When we are not aware of that, when we have no connection of that, when we keep ourselves from feeling what's going on in the outside world, that's when the outside world gets even more distorted, because it's trying to wake you up and shake us up, so that we can identify what is going on, like energetically within ourselves, if that makes sense. So the more that we allow ourselves to connect the dots with what you are seeing, okay? Now, sometimes, for the most part, things are just gonna come at you. You actually, And now this is relative. This doesn't mean that it's always going to be like that, but for the most part, things are going to come to you unless you're specifically guided to go look at XYZ, whatever it is. For the most part, your reality is already going to show you the things that you already have to feel inside of yourself. And in fact, in your room, in your home, we already have those things popping up. Whether it's, you know, this mess over here that you have to, go through or organize, or, this thing that hasn't been fixed, or this thing that's broken. Like, there's going to be so many things around your home that for the most part are enough to guide you to go deeper inside, feel things deeper within you that are actually the collective energies that are going on right now. So I know what's going on. I know more than I used to, actually, but that's part of the process too. Because there's going to be moments where it's like, no, just can't deal with that anymore, because you're still dealing with a lot of things inside of you. And you're still going through a lot of light body upgrades. So there's a moment where no news, no media, no television, no nothing. Okay. Things do change though. Because as you continue to anchor more light, as you start to expand and embody more of your higher self aspects, there's going to be more things for you to see. So, and anyway, while I do know more than I used to, what's happening collectively is felt right here in my reality, right here in my home. I'm having to deal with it. And I'm having to just ask more questions and feel more things about what's going on inside of me. And that is the beginning of all change. That is the beginning of change on all levels. Change personally, change collective, global, planetary, cosmic, universal. That's the change for everything. Everything is inside. And while we keep hearing this over and over and over, our linear mind does not understand what that means. And our linear mind does not want to go there, and our linear mind doesn't accept it, which is why it's part of the reason why we also say a lot of the same things, by the way. But it's also meant to serve as a reminder, basically, too, so that we can continue to feel that. And this will always be about what you feel and what you sense, not about what you think. Thinking keeps you locked within the linear mind, your root, your fear, your protection mechanisms, all of these old belief systems and programs, and keep you from really allowing yourself to break free from all of that. So the moment that you start to either think too much, because sometimes we have to go to, sometimes it's like, oh, I'm thinking too much. And that's when you start to back down, until you start to realize, as soon as you start to feel the energy, as soon as you think, as soon as you really start to anchor yourself in your linear mind, that you choose to breathe more consciously, right? So everything that's going to continue to transpire in different collectives in different parts of the world, in different dimensional realms. Remember that each and every single person is literally living in their own dimension. Okay. We talk about third, we talk about fourth, we talk about fifth, but sometime a long time ago, I heard, and I don't know who said this, I really don't remember, but it was, I don't know who it was. I really don't. They mentioned how they mentioned that there's an infinite number of dimensions. Okay. And so to put it simply, every single person on this planet is living in a different dimension. It's living in their own dimension. Might not, maybe not, maybe different dimension might not be best, but it's living in their own dimension, which means that they're living in their own world. And so each and every single one of us is actually living in our own world. We come into contact with other people when we have, it's almost like when we get to a space where vibrationally or more closer or like experiencing similar frequencies. And then when we leave that person's reality, then we each go back to our own world. And basically, it's kind of like bumper cars where everyone is in their own car, right? Everyone is kind of in their own lane. And it's only when we come into very close proximity with other people's lanes is when we see them and we're like, oh, hey, what's up? And then we go apart again, until we until our frequencies come into close proximity with one another and we bump into one another and we get to see each other in the physical, right? But when we talk about this in a quantum energetic world, this is like far, 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 so far out there. And I just want to open you up a little bit, because what's happening you have like, billions of realities happening right now simultaneously. Okay. This is part of how it works. Like, I want to talk about the media or the news or whatever the case may be. They take, two people's realities or three people that have bumped into each other and have had or went through whatever experience, and they highlight it. Now, yes, they tend to bring things that are fearful, right, and are scary. They take that 1, 2, 3 persons, however many people's realities that have come together, and they highlight that reality for millions of people to see. Okay. Again, the purpose is always going to be to feel things. We need to feel things. However, when we talk about, the fear mongering and stuff like that, there's because we, well, actually, I take this back. Oh, actually, I hadn't even said it, but there's more and more people recognizing and realizing that what's in the news is not adding to their peace. And it's very, very cool to see how more and more people are starting to recognize that, and they're starting to choose different. Okay. The whole point of this, though, of me saying this is that in the old separation consciousness, you take whatever, a group of people's experience that hasn't been peaceful, and you highlight that so that millions of people see that, and so that those millions of people then also start to experience that too. So the biggest thing with that is that we are actually starting to see beyond that. And while there will still be people that still will have to go through certain things within their soul contract, every single person that continues to open up and continues to go deeper into this journey, we have the responsibility now to shift our perception and open ourselves up to the beauty, the magic, the expansion, expansiveness, the peace that we're starting to see and that we're starting to feel, and share that, so that more and more people start to connect to the world that is expansive, the world that is more at peace, because we're simultaneously seeing so many different realities at once. And it's very confusing, especially to the linear mind, because the linear mind doesn't function that way. The linear mind is very linear, right? And so it does not and it cannot accept what's happening right now. It doesn't want to feel what's going on. And when we don't allow ourselves to feel what's going on, then we're going to repeat it, or we have a greater possibility of repeating it. Okay. One of the biggest things about going deeper into our own heaviness, I like our carbon body, which is where karma is held. The biggest thing about continuing to go into this ourselves is because the more that we do, the more other people start to do this too. Consciously or just subconsciously. There's so many people right now that are subconsciously doing so many things that are part of, clearing, that are part of their own liberation process, that are cleansing, that they don't really fully know or understand, but they're feeling it, and they're following that feeling, and it's huge. I want to say that there's more people now than before that are doing that. There's more people now that are that are starting to see more, and that are starting to feel, or they're starting to reach out for more support. More and more people are starting to see what's going on, or they're starting to feel what's going on. They may not fully understand what's going on, but something doesn't add up. And we're going to continue to see that more and more and more. Which is part of the reason why a lot of people are starting to make different choices, right? Turn off TV, change their whole realities, move, whatever the case may be. There's so many people that are way more open and much more awake than we think. And that number will continue to multiply and expand and just more and more and more and more and more. So I hope that explains a little bit of that. It feels like these energies are calling us to heal everything and be omnipotent, like completely healed farmers and 100% self-sufficient. And this feels unrealistic. Like, if that's the expectation, then very few will make it. So this is where we're heading towards. But this isn't something that's going to happen within a year. This isn't something that's going to happen in 2 years. This is going to be, it's going to take time. What I'm feeling more of is this becoming more and more conscious of how I'm living and what I do and how I share and how I support and where my money is going to, and you know, how much I'm sharing and how much I'm like, my constant contribution and my constant realignment of my physical world and also my internal reality as well. The thing is you, how can I say this? It's not, it's very simple to say, oh yes, we need everybody to be farmers and we need everybody to be fully healed and, you know, be completely reliant on whatever the case may be. However, in order for us to be this, we have to be this as our higher selves. We have to be this from like the soul light aspect that we are, not from the ego. So it takes years for continual ego dissolution and higher self-integration, and plus, you know, continual life-changing decision, or continuing to take life-changing decisions, continuing to open up to the shift, the transitions, what's going on around you. Like, mastery takes time. So with that, I feel, excuse me. I feel that it's just part of like planting the seed. Planting the seed on what's going to be part of our reality in, let's say, the next decade. This decade is like a complete collapse, dissolution, complete destruction of the old. So there's going to be a lot of things just kind of, and I say this, I'm not literally meaning this, but there is some aspect to that. It's almost like sit back and just let everything just fall. However, like we're still working, we're still doing things, we're still, going through obviously the personal journey, and also in the background, um, starting to get the idea, starting to get the inspiration, starting to get the guidance for all of these different things that will flourish. However, the time is always going to be personal, right? That is a very, very personal thing to just open up to just continue to feel things. When you say that if you don't do this, then not everyone will make it. Okay, so when we talk about that, for those that are just joining us, there is a huge transition, a wave of transition. And yes, there's going to be all kinds of transitions. A lot of souls are exiting, a lot of change is happening globally and collectively. We have to continue to open up to the soul agreements that people already come with. And so a lot of us, I'm saying a lot of us, a lot of people have already chosen to transition during this decade. Okay. And that's actually part of the process. There is a lot of things that are going to continue to transpire, that are going to continue to flip our worlds, that are continue to be very hard to take. And so for that, and for many, 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 many other reasons, there's going to continually be this transition of souls. Okay. Souls move out of their physical body, and souls choosing to choosing ascension, outside of their physical body or after they transition. There's so many things. There's so many things. Right now, and I'm gonna be, I like to be open and honest. The change, the whole like transformation that I see, in a lot of you guys have also seen, of like what this world will look like in, I don't know, the next 20, 30 years. There isn't going to be as many physical people on this planet. The biggest thing about this whole transition is that we're souls, right? We're more than this body. This isn't the only experience. There's so many out there. And so allowing ourselves to bring this likeness into this very, very linear mind concept about death, about, not being here in the physical, is starting to open up to the essence that we are. We're souls, we're light, right? We're energy. Energy is neither created nor destroyed, right? Energy is transferred. So everyone that has a physical body right now that then chooses not to have a physical form is because they're choosing to be in a different form. But they will always exist. They will always be here. They will always be supporting. It's just that in the physicality of things, they no longer look like what we are so used to them looking like, right? They're morphing. They've chosen something else. And this is such a normal, natural part of our essence. Our essence is energy. Energy is always changing and transforming. We will always be that. And so allowing ourselves to connect first and foremost with our own essence as souls, as light, will allow us to connect to other people's essence. And the more we connect to each other's essence, the less we're going to feel the heaviness of the loss. This isn't to say that we're not going to feel the loss or the heaviness, because it's still emotional. And in fact, yesterday, what was it, 2 days ago, a very dear friend of the family transitioned. And so we went to so yesterday we went to their mass, and the day before we went to their what's it called? Viewing? I don't even know what it's called in English. Anyway, and I had to feel that. I had to let it out. I had to just cry. Emotionally, it's meant to awaken deep, deep emotions inside. This is part of the reason why there's going to continually be a lot of transitions, because this is something that right now everyone at some level gets emotional about, which is part of what opens up a slew of emotions for us to feel. The way that people transition, or rather, I'll say this. There's going to be all kinds of ways that people are going to choose to transition. All sorts of ways. Believable, unbelievable, unimaginable, whatever the case may be. No matter what it is, or no matter how they choose, it's very emotionally activating. And that's part of the purpose. Everything that will continue to transpire from now on until forever, probably, is going to be it's going to be very emotionally activating. And we have to really remember this, because we've been in the business of suppressing our emotions day in and day out in ways that we cannot even fathom. The linear mind doesn't fully grasp just how everything we've suppressed is literally the root of everything that's happening right now in like the most distorted ways here on this planet. And so this is very important to start to connect to and start to really bridging the gap. Because the linear mind's like, oh my God, why is this happening? Why are we going through this? Why all this mess and all this whatever? This is the result of the emotional suppression that we have been allowing ourselves consciously, unconsciously, subconsciously for centuries. What's happening right now, sorry, is the tipping point. We're at the tipping point right now where the karmic levels are about to be leveled, and everything that has to occur in order for that to happen is, and it's intense. Okay, however, each and every single one of us will choose how intense this will be. Okay, will I choose to go through intensity within my own physical body? Will I allow my body to go through the extreme and intense emotional, mental, physical, and energetic clearing, cleansing, purging, realignment, rebalancing, purification process? Or am I going to wait it out until my physical world collapses or my physical world pushes me into that situation? Because it's going to happen one way or another. However, we each get to choose how to go through this. Do I want to go through it more consciously and more willingly and more accepting, or in acceptance mode? Or do I want to continue to fight my way through it? And by the way, we all have those aspects that, it's easier to surrender and accept, this area of my life, but this other area of my life, it's a little trickier and it's a little bit harder. It's a little bit more this. Like, we all have this, by the way. Seriously. Thank you, Adrian. Yeah, it's been we're good. I mean, my parents are good. They were very close to her, and so my continual wish is for them to, feel what they need to feel, and for me to also feel what I need to feel, and things like I will go through deep emotional loss, emotional loss, purging, before it actually happens, which tends to be like a normality now. So I will go through, something will hit me, something super small will hit me, and I will completely collapse into it, and I will completely allow myself to feel the loss, the intense grief that I'll have to go through. And it allows me to anchor more light for when a physical reality does happen, so that I'm able to hold more light through that experience. And because I've already gone through the collapse, right? So this is really, really, really important for all of us, especially as we go deeper into the karmic stuff, because a lot of people will go through, we're going to see all kinds of things. So we will continue to see all kinds of things. I'm pretty sure we've already been seeing a lot of things, but there's going to be a lot of experiences, people's realities, people's worlds, I'll just keep it to people's world is going to continually shift and change. Things are going to continue to wake them up. However that plays out for them, we need to continually be in the energy of peace and balance so that we can support those that we need to support, right? Those that we've already agreed we would support, right? So there was a lot of things happening. She was, you know, she was going through a lot of physical stuff, and so my mom got to see like how much she was going through. She got to see kind of the not so pretty stuff, and so it's been able to support her in that she didn't want to see her suffer that much anymore, or suffer at all anymore. So anyway, thank you again. We're doing good. With apart from that, every thing that will continue to transpire this month, and everything that happens, like everything that's happening right now, will always be supporting us in preparing us for the next phase, for the next big transition for next year, obviously, because we're about to start a new year. But everything that happens right now will continue to support us in the upcoming year, right? So allowing yourself to flow with the shifts, flow with the changes, ask more questions too, ask for more purposes, ask for the purpose, right? The meaning behind this. What's my role? What am I to do here? What am I to feel? Always, always, always. Where is this in my body? Where am I still holding on to this? All of these different things are so huge to continue to open up to, so huge to continue to really feel. Close your eyes and just continue to connect to the body. Continue to ask where. Where is this in my body? Where do I feel this? Where am I still holding on to this? Part of how the karmic energies work is that part of why we call it a karmic loop is because there's a level of comfort has been achieved. Okay? No matter how crazy insane this sounds, especially when you're going through like experiences of abuse, of disrespect, of whatever the case may be. There's a level of comfort that's reached within the energy that it just keeps going. And so you then find yourself reliving those experiences over and over and over and over and over again. And so one of the biggest things is to allow yourself to feel and to just open up to this comfort zone that your ego has allowed and has accepted, because this is what it believes it's good enough, right? This is what the ego feels needs to continue to happen in order to survive, right? Or in order to be accepted, or in order to get a little bit of attention. This is what the ego perceives needs to continue to allow in order to receive, crumbs, like very, very, a very not very, a very small amount of what we actually need. And so the moment that you start to open up to this, connect to the aspect of yourself that is keeping that loop cycle going, is a moment that you start to break out of it. Is the moment that you start to see so many things that you didn't want to see, that you couldn't feel, that you couldn't accept, that you couldn't do. The moment that you start to become more aware of these things, the most, whatever, atrocious, the most way out there perceptions and beliefs, is the moment that you start to, it's the moment that things start to shift. As soon as you start to gain a different perception of things, things start to shift. You start to, it's almost like, you've been in this racetrack. As soon as you expand, as soon as you shift your perception, a stair appears. And you get to take that step, take that one step up. You at that point you've actually broken out of the loop cycle. Okay. Everyone's journey will be relative, but the more you open up to more and more and more realizations, more revelations, more different perceptions, the more steps appear, and the more steps you get to climb, right? The more steps you climb, the higher you go, the higher the level, which means you are less likely to go back to those old loops and patterns, right? If you are visualizing this with me, if you were to take just one step up, then if something were to happen and you stumble and you fall one step back, then you're right back into your loop cycle, right? But if you would have if you continue to take those steps, 5 more steps, 10 more steps, then if you were to stumble and then just kind of fall back 2 steps, you're still out of that loop cycle. If that makes sense. So the more perceptions, the more awareness you gain, the more purposes you see for that situation, the higher and higher and higher and higher you go. And you're going to start to see how the stairs, it's a spiral. Everything's a spiral. So you start to open up to the different dimensions instead of just staying stuck in this one loop, one dimension, one belief system, one reality. The moment that you step up, the moment that you take that step up, you've expanded your consciousness. The moment you expand your consciousness is a moment that you start to break out of that loop. Now, when we talk about the karmic loop cycle, I'm just going to throw a number, because this isn't just one aspect of me is in this karmic loop cycle. You have a million. I'm going to maybe bring it down to, okay, maybe you'll have like 20 different aspects that are playing this in this karmic loop cycle. Well, each and every single one of those aspects are going to need to, you're going to need to, those aspects are going to have to break out of that cycle too. Now I'm throwing out numbers, everything is relative. The more you expand, the more aspects dissolve. The more of your ego aspects that dissolve within your physical body, the less ego aspects are playing that loop cycle. That makes sense. So the moment that your ego starts to dissolve, the moment that your ego starts to just integrate, is the moment that your higher self starts to come through. Your higher self aspect isn't playing those old games anymore. Your higher self aspect is all about expand, 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 expand. Open up, open up, open up to a gazillion angles, to a gazillion dimensions, to a gazillion realities, to a gazillion purposes. Always, 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 always. So you and I, us, we always want to be in that energy. We always want to be seeing more things from different angles, from different perspectives, from different lenses. Always, 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 always. And this allows us to keep ourselves from, kind of going back into those loops. This will always be, this is like very, very, very important. The reason I say that is because every step you take, yes, it breaks you out of your old karmic loop cycle. However, because the ego is always going to be involved, if we were to allow the ego to come back, we can create another karmic loop cycle within that whatever step you have taken. This is why it's always, this is a continual process. This is a never-ending journey. The moment that you realize that you're in your head, that you're not seeing or you're not feeling, you're stuck in that one dimension, one reality, one purpose. The moment that you start to realize that is the moment that you break out of the creation of another karmic loop. The linear mind gets really upset and really caught up on this because it thinks that, oh, I just need to do this and that's it. Or I just need to do this one time and that's it. Or I just need to do this continuously over and over and that's it. And there's so much more to that. Right? The ego likes comfort. The ego linear mind likes to do the same things over and over. The ego linear mind will always find itself a comfort zone. And this is just how it runs. This is just how it's programmed. The biggest thing is to not fall into, oh my God, I've done this again. I'm just so incredibly, whatever, bad. It happened. Okay. It happens to all of us. Can you allow yourself to just feel that? Sit with those emotions, those energies, those thoughts. and then take that step up? Can you allow yourself to be in the realization, to own that, to accept what's been happening, and then to keep stepping up? This is going to be, very, very important for each and every single one of us to just continue to open up to every part of our journey, right? There's still so much in store. There's still so many things happening right now. What's happening, and I could like collectively and globally, we see things. We're able to like kind of see where this is going. I mean, and the one of the things that I say all the time, and one of the things that it's very easy and it's simple, like everything's gonna collapse. However, like the ins and outs and like, the specifics and all of that, everything changes so fast, right? Even within, you know, each person's reality, everything is changing so much. Everything is like morphing. Everything is like looks one way, but then the next second it's completely different. And, everything is changing so much right now. The biggest thing about that is that it keeps everything moving, which keeps clearing everything. And it keeps us more conscious about staying present, about staying open, more conscious about, oh, where did I attach to this? Or where did I think this was going to happen? Or where did I want this to happen? Or all of these different things, right? You may see the same trigger or issue, but from a different lens, from a higher perspective. Yes. Everything, everything keeps showing up in a different way, through a different lens, through a different light. I know you're talking about, the loop, what I was talking about, but even that, is exactly what I'm talking about. It's like everything keeps shifting and changing so much right now. Everything keeps, this element of surprise keeps coming up and um keeps pushing us out of our old aspect of control, of expectation from the ego linear head. It keeps us in this, it keeps us from planning. Which is this is very difficult for the linear mind, because the linear mind is so used to planning ahead and having all the ducks in a row, and it's used to being able to have some sort of comfort, some sort of control within its own reality. And that's no longer the case anymore. So there's so many things. There's so many things happening right now. There's so many different shifts and changes. The biggest thing is to continue to open up to this now moment. Open yourself up to your breath. Okay. as we continue to move through this month, if you feel a lot of movement, a lot of changes, a lot of, I said, a lot of movement, a lot of changes, a lot of transitions, change of plans, change of directions, change of inspiration, or even like a complete stop, perception of stop, because nothing really stops. But when it feels like, oh, I gotta take a step back, just pause, just let things, fall where they may. This is whatever it is, it's all clearing a whole bunch of karma so that we don't continue to recreate it and we don't continue to perpetuate. The I don't want to say tricky, but the linear mind can be very tricky because of the program that it runs from, the program it functions from. Everything is a threat. Everything is protection. Everything is about survival. Everything is about our fight or flight mode. When you are functioning from these energies from this level, you are continuing this karmic loop cycle. And you may not fully see it or understand it or perceive it, which sucks until you break, or until you see it, or until someone points it out, however it occurs. And it does take linear time. It does take time to realign everything back so that you can start to see more of so you can see, or you can have a clear vision of the path that you might have been avoiding all of this time. And yes, I am talking from personal experience. We get a bit caught up in this world. We get a little bit caught up in how we think we're supposed to do this and how we think we're supposed to, help others heal, and how we're supposed to do energy work. And it's part of the process. For however many of us, everything that we do right now is energy. It doesn't matter what you do. It doesn't matter how you do. It doesn't matter how you do it. It doesn't matter what you do. It doesn't matter where you work. It doesn't matter in the way that you think it matters. Because everything that you do is energy, right? Everything that you do creates a response, like it creates an emotional response. When we go deeper into, and there's a lot of people right now that are opening up to, what, this doesn't fulfill me, or this isn't what I thought it was going to be like, or this isn't really supporting anybody, or this is, even though there's money, and even though there's a lot of it, that, you know, that physical sense of money acquisition is no longer enough, because our bodies are starting to feel it. Our bodies are starting to sense more. Our bodies are starting to activate, and they're waking us up to, I'm not in full alignment with what I'm doing. And so as we continue to open up to this, and as we continue to feel deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper into this, we're going to start, it's just like that stair that I was talking about. You're gonna start to take those steps higher and higher and higher and higher, so that you can see more of your reality right now. Like, what is highest for you to do in this reality right now? So we're all in this journey. We're all doing this, right? Um, there might not be much more for me to say at this point or about that. If there is anything else that you would like to open up to, that you would like me to expand, you're more than welcome to. I think it's just us here right now. Um, Good. I'm glad to hear that. Uh, Probably going to, if there isn't much, anything specific, probably gonna end it in the next 10 minutes or so. And I did end up starting after 5, but might just end it here soon. Thank you for being here. Thank you for staying as long as you did. And for anybody else that is here watching the replay, for those that came in and out as well. Appreciate you, appreciate your time. Stay within the flow of change. Stay within the flow of energy. Stay anchored within all the elements. I know when we talk about flow, it's like, oh, water or maybe air, but it's going to be important to stay within every element that exists. Some people, or most of us learned the 4 elements. I know sometimes we talk about the 5th element, but every single element has its purpose. Every single element has interesting. Okay, so sorry. There's so many things coming through right now. Every single element has its own purpose and power. So allowing yourself to flow within the energy of change allows you to be in the energy that you need to be in. Sometimes it's just this flow, just letting things flow. Sometimes it's letting things flow, but feeling supported on earth, feeling at the ground. Sometimes it's going to be, flowing and feeling supported. Actually, all the time. It's always like that. Feeling the cleansing of the air, and then feeling the fire, feeling your soul igniting, feeling this. And with the fire, there's a lot with that. Fire is going to be what clears, what burns the old, what purifies us into the new. Fire is going to light us up from inside with all of these inspirations, with all of these new ideas, with all of these new projects. There's so many things, and every single element is actually really, really important. So allowing yourself to continue to stay connected to all elements in the way that's highest for you, right? So everyone's relative. You may need to connect a little bit more with your body and the ground, while keeping yourself connected to fire, air, and water. In other moments, you're going to need to just flow with water, be more connected to the water element inside, while still keeping the connection, with your body, earth, fire, soul, air, higher self. So just allowing yourself to be, to flow, to be, to open, to fly, to ignite, and to support in every way that you're guided to. Hi, Evan. Thanks for being here too. So simple answer is yes and no, as always. When we talk about the head expanding, the head tightness, okay, it's part of your head opening up and expanding. It's part of your head also clearing. So it's always going to be clearing, which means it's clearing the heaviness, it's clearing the karma. And it's also going to be part of the expanding. You're opening up your mind, you're creating new neural pathways, you are expanding beyond what you perceived before. So there's a lot going on there. And there's always going to be more than one thing happening with anything and everything that you feel going on in your body, right? So, is it from overthinking? Yes. Or quote unquote bad thoughts in this life or past lives. There aren't any bad thoughts. There's heaviness within the frequency, which is just a lower, vibrational frequency towards. And it's interesting because when we think about bad thoughts, everything is just energy, right? So whatever your perception, whatever your judgment is about whatever thing you're thinking, you're adding to the heaviness of this, if that makes sense. So the vibration, okay, everything is energy, right? So everything has a vibration. Whatever it is that you're thinking about is just energy. The moment that we add a certain label, a certain judgment about it, when we function from the dualistic, this is good, this is bad, you automatically shift the energy of that thought into a lower vibrational frequency. Okay. Again, energy is just energy until you add something that shifts it out of its pure balance into the lower vibrational frequency. And you can also shift it into like a higher dimensional frequency the more you allow that same thought to expand you. Oops. If that makes sense. So a lot of things are going on here because your mind is what's been keeping the old stories, the karmic loops, the old perceptions, the old belief systems. And so the continual mind clearing, mind expansion is such a huge part of this process because it distorts everything. So what's happening is like your mind is expanding so that you're no longer functioning from this dualistic good, bad, wrong, right perspective aspect. So there's going to be a lot of sensations in the head. There's going to be a lot of different sensations, experiences. There's going to be all sorts of mind fuckery because of how rigid everything's been, because of how tight we've held onto those old perceptions and how long we've been holding on to those old perceptions. It's a long time because we're also clearing things that we've carried or not carried. Well, yeah, carried. We're carrying things from other bodies that we've been in. So anything that wasn't resolved and any other any other simultaneous existence gets stored in this body. this is why there's going to be so many things that don't make absolutely any sense at all. Because we're not just clearing stuff from this body. We're clearing stuff from existences that are still simultaneously playing out that haven't yet been resolved. And so you're also clearing all of these aspects of yourselves, aspects of yourself that are still functioning from linear mind, lower self, ego, root chakra. So there's a lot. Yes, we will expand more on this, by the way. Because there's so much to everything. But thanks for bringing this up. This is definitely an important one to open up and cover, because head is just one of those. The head has been our comfort zone for so long, right? The linear mind thinking. This is how we have been able to survive until we break out of this perception and we think, well, we didn't need to survive. We didn't need to continue the survival mode because this world is actually way more loving than we thought. As soon as we start to open up to, and we break out of that survival mode, survival mechanism, is the moment that our protection mechanisms start to fall away, and we actually start to see a whole completely different world that actually supports, that accepts, that cares for us, that loves us. It's nothing like we had thought it was going to be like. But the walls of protection distort everything. The walls of protection actually create the illusion of it. And they create the illusion of danger. They create the illusion. They actually reflect back our most unconscious aspects. So the protection walls are actually just reflecting back our most unconscious ego aspects that are very scary. And then when we start to open up more and more and more, we start to realize that everything that we've ever been afraid of, everything that we've ever been frightened of, everything that has at some level, or that at some level we perceived had harmed us, was actually done by another aspect of ourselves. But this aspect, we've been so disconnected from this aspect, we've been so far from this aspect that we just couldn't see it. We hadn't had the ability to connect at a deeper level with that aspect. And so the further away you are, the more scarier things are perceived as, and the more you continue to believe and accept the perception that it's actually outside of yourself. When in reality, nothing will ever be outside of yourself, because you are everything. It's just a misperception. It's the distortion. It's the illusion. It's the whatever the case may be. So yeah, that's that. We'll dive into all of this as it flows. Thanks again for bringing it up. Definitely. Let me screenshot that. Hopefully I won't forget. If not, you're welcome to bring it up. In any case, yeah, I will continue. If there is actually, please make sure that you are writing stuff down, things that you would like to bring up, things that you would like to cover. Again, I will be updating the web page, the website, so that you guys can see the updated schedule. And with that, thank you again for being here. So I'm so grateful for you guys. I'll see you guys in the course. And for anybody that would like to sign up, I'll put the link in the description. Or not the comments, probably. I forget to put it in the description, so I'll just put it in the comments because it's easier. And so with that, thank you again. Thank you to both. And I'll see you guys soon. Bye.